Point is, what do you want? Why you want to be a lamb and follow everybody? The wings of the mind are two. One is past, one is future. So if your mind is going in past or thinking about the future, you have missed the present moment. And that will give you restlessness. Moksha is something which you can only experience while being physically alive. Number one. What it means is, it's like breaking the bondages and shackles of your mind.
Namaste, Gurumaa. We all lead very busy lives. There is so much to be done. There is so much pending work to be done. So at some point you realize that it's very essential that we are at the peak of our performance. As in, our brain should be working at the prime level. Body should be functioning at the right, absolutely fine pace, so that like an athlete, we are able to accomplish all that we set out to, and are not tired or fatigued. Because largely we've noticed that although we have all the facilities, but largely people are either fatigued or worried or not able to perform or distracted. So all these problems are there. So how does one reach that point? What should we be doing to be, at the to be able to perform at the peak prime level?
I get you. See, it's not just one magic potion of a herb or of some exotic fruit which one can consume and have that superpowers to do that. If you see, the nature has a system. Like the seed will germinate in stipulated time, it needs that dark, undisturbed environment in the soil. And then in 4 weeks' time, it raises its head up with a tiny little sapling comes out. And then the sapling takes its own good time to become a tree, then flowering, then obviously the bees will do the great work. Then the fruits will come. So you can't just super speed this whole journey of a seed to become a fruit. Similarly, this human life is like a seed. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity where we need to allow the seed to germinate, allow the seed to take its final call and come out. So that system has to be respected. I'll give just one small example, that the birds are still living the way they used to live long, long ago. Their circadian rhythm is tied with the sun. So as the sun comes up, they come up. As the sun goes down, they go down. They sleep. If you see the mammals or birds or your domesticated pets, even they go through the system. They'll be in a heat at certain time, they'll copulate, they'll have their children, or the bird will lay the eggs. So there's again a system. Somehow the modern man and the so-called approaching and finishing the targets has gone so much into the head that we have cut ourselves out of this circadian rhythm which we too have. So if a bird is associated with the sun, so are we actually, the humans. But because long ago when there was no electricity, humans were still closer to nature. Even now if you go to any tribal area, they are still very closer to nature. So they don't have hypertension, they don't have diabetes, they don't even have cancers or tumors. They are not committing suicide. It's a totally unheard of. And I'm talking about globally. I'm not just talking about India. So in a way, this modernization has brought these agendas and targets and the rush to finish, to compete. and to defeat somebody, to become victorious, and then your name gets flashed everywhere and you become popular. The fame, the name, the money is blinding, and that's causing so much of rapid hyperactivity is happening in the mind, in the body. So we don't sleep in time. I'm going into the root cause. If you will fight with the nature, nature will give you very strong rebuttals. And we petty human beings can't fight with Mother Nature. So because we are going off our own circadian rhythms, now your all important hormones will be released at the night time. But if you are not following the circadian rhythm, then your hypothalamus, pineal gland and pituitary cannot work in sync. Hence, your TSH will go up. Hence, you will have hypothyroid. If you have too much of anger, that will damage your liver. If you have too much of sadness, that will damage your lungs. And I have hundreds and thousands of research papers which were done in the traditional Chinese acupuncture. Even in Ayurveda, we always have been stressing on to this, that give importance to your sleep, because that's going to lay the foundation, give you the energy, give you the strength to work in the daytime. But if you haven't slept properly, and the time when you should have been up, you are going to sleep because you finished your long distance calls in the different continents, or you were partying, or you were doing something, yeah? And so you're sleeping at 4, 5, 6. Your body is going to be so much tortured that it will be absolutely impossible for your body to function. See, every cell has its own brain. We might think we are thinking from here, but actually every cell has a brain. Every injury will leave a memory of that pain. And every winter or every change of the season, the pain will come up. The memory is there. There are hundreds of thinking cells in your gut, right? Then the most important part is the vitality, the power, the strength, the energy, whatever you may call it. You will get it only if you sleep good 6 to 8 hours. So if you are compromising your sleep, then please forget your health. Now, there are artificial ways to charge yourself up. Like you can have a black coffee, but these days they call it the bullet coffee, yeah? Put a spoon of ghee into that and then, okay, now you are ready to go. Then there are these energy drinks which the youngsters go crazy for, or the people who are working in the cyber, departments, and so they are drinking the coffees and drinking those energy drinks. And then sometimes taking some meds also, some drugs which they shouldn't, but they will take, because they need to be up and they have to be vigilant to cope up and to finish their projects. This is again going to take a toll. So if you have slept well, now I give you a very positive, very correct, closer to nature scenario. That is that you slept well. Now, you can't sleep well if you ate too late. Again, see, it is a physics. It's a biology. If your belly is too full, you ate your big heavy lunch with your pastas and parathas at 10 or 11, because that's usually when the parties are happening. And then if you wish to go to sleep, you can't, because the indigestion will come over. The distress of your stomach will destroy your sleep. All these glaring lights, the party lights, even your iPad light, even your screens, even your mobile, any screen, they are emitting the electromagnetic waves. Your eyes are the window to your brain. So when your eyes are being hit with this strong light, it's hitting your brain. Now brain is in stress. Now, how do you expect the sleep to come? For the sleep, see, if you see a small infant, what does mother do? Mother would bathe the child, massage the child, and feed the child. And then She strokes the baby's back nicely and stroke and massages the head and gently puts the child to sleep. Once the child is, she will make sure like a lioness that no sound is created. She is going to guard. She is going to kick everybody out of the house if it required so. Because the child's sleep is very important, because we have the saying, the child grows in the sleep. So does even an adult. So the importance of the preparation for the sleep becomes as important as sleep. So when you ate your dinner becomes as important as a good sleep. So if you have eaten a very spicy, fried, difficult to digest food with a lot of icy cold drinks or lot of intoxicating alcohol type drinks, the sleep won't happen. Now when you won't sleep, one, you have disturbed your hormonal releases cycle. Two, your lymphatic system will not function. So you have all the swollen, eyes and the swollen and inflamed faces. And then they'll look for Google and YouTube. Well, what can I do to put it down? And so somebody say, put some ice on your icy water dip, or do this, or do the cucumbers and this and that. Okay. Or again, they will take a drug which will be diuretic, so that they can pee more, and they think that all the inflammation will go out through the pee. Well, that isn't going to happen. You are just putting a lot of pressure on your kidneys by doing that. See, anything which you are going to pop in will have some impact on your health. So, when your internal system won't function proper, if you haven't slept well, your lungs will not function proper. When your lungs won't function proper, you will not breathe. I would say at least 2 to 3 second inhalation, 2 to 3 second exhalation should be the norm. But because of the racing, rattling mind, the breathing is very shallow. When breathing is very shallow, the amount of oxygen in your blood will be too less. When the oxygen is too less, your brain cannot function properly. So you will have this brain fog. And especially after this pandemic, this is something I am hearing about. Thousands and thousands of people are facing this. And that is, they have chronic fatigue. They can't sleep properly. They have palpitations. They have so many cardiovascular issues, which they never had before the COVID. So we cannot just ignore what happened to the whole world in this pandemic. Along with that, the work stress, the family stress, the relationship stress, the target stress, the project completion stress, and then somebody competing for your job is the stress, right? So in all these things, we are doing absolutely what we should not be doing. So I would say you might be 40, 50, 60 or 80 years old, but see your body like a child. And now see how mother takes care that my child should be fed every 2 to 3 hours. Then she'll make sure what my child can consume and what not. But we don't eat like that, what will be good for me or not. If I love ice cream, I'll be eating ice cream after 6 when the sun is down. Your own solar energy in the stomach is down and you are eating this cold stuff and the pastas and difficult to digest curries and masala curries. And then you say, I can't sleep. So should I pop a sedative? Should I pop a sleeping pill? What should I do? Now the issue is this, that actually it is a very easy thing. The beautiful discipline which we had when we were going to school, we just have to bring that back, right? The child has a very tight schedule. This is time to play, this is time to study, this is time to sleep. So mom will put the girl or the boy to sleep even in the afternoon because nap is important. And the child will go to bed by 8. Why? Because school is important. So this goes on and on. So we have to bring that same tight sleep food schedule in our life, in adult life, I am saying. And the second and the very most important part is that we are now equating our joys with size of our bank balance, or how expensive my apartment is, or how expensive my car is. And this is going like, I can't even say rat race, now it is much more than that. maybe virus race, should I say. People are badly infected with this virus. So the simplicity is gone. The flashing lifestyle, clothes, designer, watch, shoes, even husbands have to be designer and the boyfriends have to be designer. They should fit that bill. The girl should fit that bill. And just to fit into that bill, that so much of strain is there on the mind. And this strain will turn itself into cortisol in your blood. Now, cortisol running in your veins and arteries is going to damage that, the lining. So, you get prone to the panic attacks, prone to palpitations and worry so much so that your hands are shaking and you just forget where you kept your keys. What's the code of your own home? What is the PIN code of your own credit card? And the best part is people sometimes even forget, where do I live? Because this becomes like, I would say, it's literally crazy. Literally crazy. The panic attacks, people hide it very nicely. And that's where the consumption of the alcohol is going up. The graph is really going up. Any kind of thing which makes you forget what pressures you have. Maybe for a few hours, it's okay. But people can't now be without alcohol, be without a cigarette, be without some sedative. And that's the norm thing now. So we have to, again, sit down calmly and prioritize, is my healthy life more important? Or pleasing my boss is more important? If you die today, your children, your husband, your wife, your parents will get impacted, not the boss, not the company. You are just replaceable. There are hundreds and thousands of candidates ready to take that job, ready to do the task, ready to run the business, right? But you are indispensable. You should be like that in your own eyes first. I am very important. I love this. There was this Zen master who would wake up in the morning and would say good morning to himself. He would take his name, good morning, Toyo. Have a great, glorious day. So one time his student overheard. He said, what's he doing? He seemed to be an old wise man, but what's this? So he dared to ask and he said, please, can you tell me why you greet yourself? He said, well, I am beginning my beautiful, glorious day with glorious compliments to myself. And I'm so happy I'm alive. I didn't die. I didn't die. I am here and I can listen to the birds chirping and greenery of the nature and blue skies and floating clouds and enjoy the food and teas and my loved ones I can see and chat with them and sit with them and play my flute, my bamboo flute. So it's a great day. So I'm not going to wait that somebody comes and give me these greetings. I do it myself. See, when somebody comes to you and gives you a nice compliment, everybody, even if it is false, a lie, still it sounds good. We feel good. Oh, thank you so much. We might not be, but if somebody says, oh, hello, beautiful. Oh, yeah. Oh, finally somebody noticed. Somebody noticed, somebody acknowledged. So the thing is, we are so dependent emotionally on others, we have become slaves. Well, slaves can't have good sleep, and slaves can't have good life. So everything is in a jittery because we are not consciously addressing our own existence, not applauding our own existence, not acknowledging our own beauties, not acknowledging our own negativities. I might have some. Yes, we are humans, we will have some. But do I know I have it? And nobody else is going to say this to me because I'll kill that person. If that person says you are egoistic, so how dare you? How dare you? the abuses will start, the revenges will start. We don't want anybody to say a bad thing to me, but am I intelligent enough to analyze my own behavior, language, how I interact, and my own stance when I'm sitting or walking or talking, or if am I able to enjoy my own company? Or do I need some props? Whether it is OTT shows or it's shopping or it's bunch of friends on food and drinks, or do I need to go some expensive vacations to feel good? End of the day, it's like everything is about feeling good. And man is just racing for that feel good, ends up burning oneself. And then one wonders what went wrong. And what I'm saying is very simple, very doable thing. Our parents did for us when we were young. Now we can do the same thing for us. Be your own parent. Be your own guide. Be your own mentor. Be your own guru. Right? And then give importance to yourself, love yourself, applaud yourself, see yourself as you are, whatever work is there to be done. There are something, the betterment, is the scope is always there. So we shouldn't just say it's a full stop. Just let it be a comma only. One comma, we do something more, comma. Then it should be a progression, and it should not be a digressing from our own mental status. And end of the day, whoever we are, we want happiness, we want peace. But the only thing is we are looking at wrong places. In pleasing others, we have forgotten how to please your own self. So an intelligent mind is required to have a good life, to have good health, to have good mental health, right? Just today the news was there about this, some crazy guy with a gun goes in a mall, shoots, and 5-year-old infants got killed, right? What kind of society we have? What kind of education we are giving? These things need to be wondered. And that's why I always say education minus the samskaras is not a good education. You might have a degree, but you are still a fool, a buffoon, and still an idiot, still not performing well. You don't even know how to be nice to people. It's hard to find nice people on street. People are getting rude. People are getting very angry. They are short fuse, ready to fight, ready to kill somebody on parking, on noise, because you were playing sound, I want to sleep, and the guns come out and people get killed, people get murdered. So the whole society actually is in this grip of pandemic, and that is of this anger, so much anger. I want something which others have, I don't have it, I am angry. Now what should I do to get that? So all the conspiracies and all the bad stuff and the crime and the bad attitudes and the bad actions will follow. So it's quite a potpourri of things. But only if we could, just bring ourselves closer to the inner child. And you see children, they can just play with the grass blade. They can just look at a flower with awe. They can just smile without a reason. And they can laugh at something very silly. We might think it's, so silly. Children are silly. No, children are very intelligent. So we need to learn from them. One of my friend, who is an Ayurvedic doctor practicing in USA, he got a patient a top-notch CEO of a company who couldn't sleep, who had flatulence, who had acidity, who had bad skin, who had those big eye bags, and he came to the doctor. He said, please help me. He said, okay, I will do. But the one very important thing what you have to do is that apart from the medicine and dietary consult, you have to go to a kindergarten school 2 hours every day. He said, are you mad? What will I do with the kids? My own kids are adults now. Why would I go? He said, well, if you don't follow this, then I'm not going to prescribe you anything. So it seemed very odd. He said, these Indians are crazy. What's he saying? I'm such a big hot shot and he's asking me to go and sit with children in a kindergarten. But anyhow, he went there. Day one was a bit odd. Second day, he liked it. Third day, he loved it. Fourth day, he rushed to the kindergarten every day. Fifth day, he was getting so good. His wife said, what's changing? What are you doing? What is happening? The office colleagues were wondering, something has changed. What happened? And it was just that he was spending time with the kindergarten children, playing with them, dancing with them. And they would make small ponies with his hair and put some, drawing mark or tattoos, those peeling off tattoos on. Can we do that? And he is allowing those children, not his own children, he's allowing those children to do all that stuff. And then he could sleep well. His skin went as normal as it could be. Yes, the medicines were there. Yes, some kriyas were also, given. The abhyangam and the shirodharas were given. But the most important part was that playing with children. So being simple, I'm not saying be a child, I'm saying being childlike. Having that playfulness, that's gone. And most importantly, the fictitious, illusionary world of Facebooks and WhatsApp is killing people's joy.
That brings me to another question. We all feel very distracted.
Yeah.
Every minute we want to pick up the phone and see, who sent the WhatsApp in morning, through night.
Now it's called addiction of the phone.
Yes. So this is a very big problem.
It's a very big problem.
Feeling distracted all the time. And as a result, you can't focus.
See, unnecessary information is being fed. My friend's mom went to this place. So I need to see that photo too. Why? What for? Right? The WhatsApp group, all the aunties and the uncles and all the nephews and the nieces. So whose birthday was, who fought with whom, who is having an extra affair. One time it was a soap operas. People would watch 1 hour, 2 hours on the TV. Now it is on your phone. So it's like titillating your mind. And your mind is so consumed in getting this artificial titillation. People, it's a little funny. I respect all kind of art forms. But I find it very amusing that people pay to go to a club where some stand-up comedian will crack jokes and they can laugh. How come you can't even laugh without using your credit card? And why you need, and they are going to talk about somebody's stupidity, somebody's nonsense, somebody's mistakes, somebody's, pain sometimes, and the foolishness of the other person. And sometimes they're making mockery of their own self or their own family or the wife or a husband or a mother. There are a bunch of people, they say, it's a great joy. Great. But couldn't you just sit home and laugh and listen maybe jokes from your own kids? Or your wife could have said something, or your husband. But maybe you hate one another so much, you don't want to be quiet in one room. That's why you walk out and go to places so that you don't address one another. And you don't talk to one another. So you watch your WhatsApp, I watch my Netflix, we are happy. Right? So Monday, Thursday, Saturday, wife goes out with her friends, and Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, husband goes out with his friends, both are happy. Why the hell they were married then? They can't enjoy one another's company. And on the Facebook, and sometimes, I am listening to all these things, and some things come in my notice also. So here they have Mom's Day, Mother's Day, right? So all the greetings are coming in the Facebook. They haven't said hi to his own mother, who is right there at the house, or maybe in a different city. Haven't called the mom, haven't asked how she is doing, but is celebrating the Mother's Day on the internet. So we have become really shallow. Really shallow, I'm saying. We can't blame technology, because technology has great usage, but we don't know how to use the technology. Facebook is not bad. I am using Facebook myself. Every Sunday when I'm meeting people, I am actually taking questions which are coming via the Facebook to me. And I'm reaching out to people via the YouTube. I am reaching out to people, and they are getting their consult, or they are getting their questions answered. And I am teaching meditation right there at that public platform. So I can't condemn that Facebook is bad. I can't condemn that WhatsApp is bad. I can only say we need to use our own intelligence, what to consume and how much to consume. It's like a buffet dinner is there. You won't just eat like a glutton and just die there with your own stomach bursting out. You will just eat, whatever you like, and a point comes, oh no more, thank you very much. So that thank you very much is required even to the phone also. Like over here, when somebody comes to meet, or if I go to meet some dignitary, somebody, the first thing is you leave your phones out. You can't take your phones in. I won't allow phone in my assembly. I would say, no phones. Why? Because if you've come for me, then sit with me. Right? If you have gone out to say eat food, then please eat food. No need to take photo of the food. The food might be thinking, why am I being clicked? I was supposed to be eaten. Right? And then seeing those pictures of our friends going on holidays, on oceans and beaches and mountains, and then the fight happens. Then why aren't we going? Everybody's out. Maybe they just made a Photoshop. It was not even a real vacation. Even if it was, well, everybody has their own life and their needs, their choices. Point is, what do you want? Why you want to be a lamb and follow everybody? You should know. We are humans, so we should know what we want. And we should make correct choices. This is how I wish to spend my time. These will be friends with whom I can, look in their eyes and have a chat, and warmth will spread, and love and affections can be, shared with one another. A Facebook post will not give you that. An OTT show cannot give you that. End of the day, you are missing living your own life, and you are busy looking on how others are living their life. It's nonsense. It's not very intelligent thing.
Gurumaa, many times I've noticed that suppose I'm sitting down to work, it's very easy for me to get distracted. Okay, I have tons of things to be done, and yet there is this sense of restlessness which doesn't allow me to focus. Why do you think that happens?
Because you are not training your own mind well. You haven't trained your mind to be restful. You haven't trained your mind to be peaceful. You haven't trained your mind to be in the present moment and not go into speculative thinking about future events or ogling about the past good or bad events. Your mind is always racing left and right. It's just missing this present moment. This when the breath is happening. This when your heart is beating. This where your eyes can see and ears can hear. So when we cut ourselves out from the present, and the wings of the mind are two. One is past, one is future. So if your mind is going in past or thinking about the future, you have missed the present moment. And that will give you restlessness. So all the yogic kriyas come into now this area, that if you learn those kriyas, if you learn the correct asanas and pranayam, It doesn't take more than 40-45 minutes. And you can, see, if you need a certain drug, for example, don't go for a chemical drug. There are certain asanas and certain kriyas which will give you that what you want, because our human body is so intelligent. So if we use it well, move it well, breathe properly, then we can have enough serotonin and enough melatonin to calm your frontal brain and to pacify your heartbeat and to have a very cool and calm breathing and the pulse rate. Everything will get fine. But if you are, cut out, away from your own present moment, and not addressing your own body, not seeing how your mind is thinking, so everything will go awry.
This brings me to another question. Many times you've noticed that sudden comment by someone or sad news or something which jolts you, that makes you focus far more in your work than anything else. Otherwise, if you're too happy, you're too restless. Your mind is everywhere.
See, if you remember, then some of the teachers not these days, maybe even now these days, the school teacher, if the child is not paying attention to she will just give a small whack on the head, back of, what are you doing? Oh, fine. And now the child is going to listen. Even our moms would, if you're not paying attention to what she is saying, eat your food or do your homework, and you're chattering or laughing, so she just gives a stern look or a harsh word and scolds the child. That's what happens, but it's not necessarily that it would be a good thing that some abuse or some insult has brought you to senses. It might be a different story that might go into depression, that I got insulted. Because your sadness will be like a quicksand. It will just consume your mind and pull you further down. So, and it's not a nice thing that if I have to feel good or perform, I need somebody to insult me or somebody to shock me with some sad news or say something harsh to me and, okay, how come you said this to me and now my mind is attentive? There are better ways to do that. And the yogic way is there. For some, I would say, this is for everybody, I would say. Some kind of art form should be in your life. Dance, pottery, painting, classical music, vocal or instrumental. Some kind of discipline, because music disciplines you. These days we are all about who is singing, which reality show. We are not singing, right?
We are passive consumers of everything.
Passive consumer of everything. So we have to be more active in learning something. So when we learn, new synaptic connections will be made in your brain. You will have better functioning neurons. You will have a happier brain and you will have a happier mind. So learning something new or practicing some kind of martial art. Again, it is a discipline, it's a physical discipline which conjoins with your breathing, because that's how the moves are. They are the marriage of the breath and the body movement. This is what the martial art, any martial art would be. Giving time to yourself. See, what we are missing is our own self. We are so bothered about which movie is coming, which new restaurant is opening, which new mall is coming, which new destination, vacation can I have. And now we are missing the simple thing that wherever I am, you might don't know how to sing. Maybe you know how to whistle. Whistle a song. Hum, if not a song, then hum Om. Or whichever mantra you love. It's engaging your own mind. That's how we can create this shackles which we have with others. So this other orientation in our mind is so deeply embedded that if a child sings a poem and the family claps. Now this child has become 40, 50-year-old, but is behaving inside still like that whatever I do, somebody should clap. Somebody should applaud me. And if the person doesn't get that applaud, will sulk like that child and cry like that child, and nobody loves me, nobody cares me, nobody respects me, I don't get my due. This is a very common statement which people have, that I am not given my dues with our office or family. I'm not being respected enough. I'm not being loved enough. And I meet hundreds of people, and this is a very common complaint which comes to me, and that is, there is no love. Nobody loves me. And they cry. And I can feel their pain, but slowly I take them in my fold and I teach them, teach them the ways which makes them happy. And for that, chanting, my music, sit with them, let's sing along. Sometimes in the mandir, in the evening time, it changes into a dancing floor and everybody is just dancing. And the strangest part is, in many cities it happened. Like 5 days I am giving discourse. 5th day it rained and the whole venue was not fit for people to sit. And I said, okay, why waste it? Let's have some kirtan and you dance. And played some of that music. And everybody danced. And just now I was in Ahmedabad. There were these people who said, oh, the day when we had that rain and dance happened, what a wonderful day, we can't forget it. Then I wondered, then shouldn't I be making everybody dance every day? Why should I speak to them? Let me just give them a dance party. Let me just give them a reason to dance. Because they remember that. If I would have asked what I spoke on day 1, 2, 3, 4, they might not remember, but they remember the dance. So this means dance is more natural. Singing is more natural. Similarly, sleeping is more natural. So just have a look. Are you missing on your dancing? Are you missing on your singing? Are you missing on sitting down? Like children, if they are angry, they'll fight. They'll maybe beat one another, but after an hour, they're still playing again. Right? So can we do that? Same thing. Be it husband, wife, be it brother, sister, be it cousins, be it colleagues. Can we be that truthful to oneself and truthful to the other person? We are being made crooked diplomats, liars, deceitful. The whole day we are playing these games with one another, false compliments, lying to one another. Maybe it suits everybody, but end of the day you are going to suffer. Because you will be dependent on somebody, and anybody can just jostle up your mind. And now your whole night is gone worrying. Why the hell this person said this to me? Why he gave me that look? Why that person evaded meeting me? He never said hi to me. Maybe that person never saw you. Could be. But still, we are so enslaved to others that we don't know how to rejoice, how to recreate beauty around us. Now, because we don't like our own company, hence others don't like our company, then we say, oh, I have no friend. Why would be anybody your friend? You are not your own friend.
So can we say that yoga helps us know ourselves and unite ourselves with ourselves?
Sure,
would that be a good starting point?
A beautiful starting point, actually. See, any animal in the jungle or in the city, wherever they are, when they wake up, whatever time, the first thing what they do is to stretch. They're stretching so much. They might be a little lazy, but soon, because they have to chase for their food, so they are running and they are stretching and moving the muscle. See, our bodies are so beautifully functioning if with great concentration and attentiveness, we move our body. It not necessarily to be an acrobatic, I'm saying yoga to do. I'm saying just gentle asanas, suitable for your age, Because if your joints are too hard and rusted and you haven't moved it properly, it would be very difficult. So, like here, we teach one sequence which is only for old people. So they are moving their bodies and slowly stretching their bodies, and our muscle is going to function like when you will stretch the muscle and when you will relax the muscle, it's not just the muscle which is moving, it will also move your heart and mind. And that's why at the end of 30-minute practice, when you go into Shavasana, you are so relaxed, your body is happy because your aches and pains and tightness of the muscles has just gone away. And again, it is not the muscles which are moving, your mind is also moving with that. Because if the instructor is saying straighten your arm horizontally, then you have to work with your angles and degrees, and you have to see where your wrist is, how your fingers are. Is your thumb going in a different direction, or is it with the head? So you have to bring your mind to your body and limbs and your attention. Any good instructor will also teach you where to look when you are doing the asana. It could be one point in front of you, it could be your nose tip, it could be your forehead, it could be the up ceiling. So they will guide you where to take your attention. And now when you are busy, learning all this and practicing all this, for that particular time, your mind isn't going to worry or stress about anything. And end of the day, you are relaxed, body is happier, you can move well, you can walk well, and you have enough energy without taking any energy drink. And now you can function better. So, giving the yoga asanas, you might be the busiest bee of the world, but still, you have to teach yourself and have this discipline that you begin your day after your shower, after bathing, you just put your mat down, do your asanas, which should be followed by pranayam. Pranayam is little deep and intricate, so I would say begin with some breathing exercises. So those breathing exercises, which are very simple, again the volume of oxygen is going more in your blood to your all organs, hence your pancreas is happy, your brain is happy, your heart is happy. See, when you are sad and when your mind is lost, you don't take a proper breath, the inhalation doesn't happen proper, and sometimes you just totally forget taking the breath in. The pauses are there. And then after that pause, a big gasp. If you see around, people are sighing all the times. Just notice this. Your friends and wherever you are, just notice while talking or eating or just sitting, they are so lost in their mind that their breathing is not happening. And then they sigh, then they gasp, because the diaphragm is crying for oxygen. So it will take over, and involuntarily it will make you do the sigh, because that's how the air will go in. And then again, because mind is lost, the concentration is not there. So there are too many pauses happening in your breathing, and we are not familiar with our own breath intake. We are not familiar with what should be the correct ratio of your inhalation and exhalation per minute. So yoga is a science, and it teaches you to come back to your natural breathing patterns where you neither hold the breath, nor you sigh, nor you gasp for the breath, nor your breath is very shallow. So people are mostly chest breathers. They are not inhaling, their diaphragm hardly moves. When you are a chest breather, our body runs on oxygen, and you are depriving your own body of oxygen. Hence, the irritation or the palpitations will happen sooner or later. So if you can take charge of your breathing, like when you are listening to me, are you aware of your own breathing?
Now I am.
Now you are. So those nice reminders, maybe on your, making good use of your phone is putting this on your reminder that every half an hour or 1 hour, the message comes in, watch your breath. Are you breathing properly? It might sound, oh, it's so simple, but this is so good that I am seeing hundreds of people coming off their even blood pressure medicines, coming off their anxiety medicine, coming off their depression medicine, just because they have learned the correct way of breathing. So your asanas, followed by your breathing techniques, and then whomsoever you revere, you love, you adore, you worship. And if you don't love anybody, or you are a non-believer of there's no God or something, even then, might be your wife or your child that you love. So just, have this connection with that person or the belief which you have, because we are not engaging into gaining the true knowledge about God. So what people have is just faith, where they don't know whether truly the existence of God is there or not there, but just because your grandma and ma said, okay, go and do the bow to this or that, and you do that, you're just following the ritual, following a certain faith. It's okay, it's nothing wrong in that. But people have even lost that. People have even lost that. And I say, if you wish to lose your faith, then please go and study quantum physics. Because if you do the study of the quantum physics, then you will definitely come very close to what the Vedanta expositions are. Very close you will come. It will be a different route. I have no issue into that. Like, you can be an atheist, you can be a total non-believer, and yet I can teach you Vedanta, and I can teach you yoga. We don't need concept of God in between this learning. Because I'm going to address you and your body and your mind and your consciousness and your intellect. That's enough, for me at least. And that's how beautiful the Patanjali Yoga Sutra is, and how beautiful the Advaita of the Vedanta is. But again, maybe, in certain time, this wish to learn will come. And then people say, oh, it is too deep. I say, so is your own existence. But you don't even acknowledge that, and you don't even know about that. Hence you are saying, oh, it's too deep. It's not deep. It's just encountering the reality. And once you encounter your own true reality, oh, things will be so beautiful.
Now this takes me to a very different thing. On the Bhagavad Gita, you've written a very nice commentary, and you've been talking about the Gita. In the Gita, they talk about buddhi. Recently, I came to know that there are some 20 levels of buddhi in the Bhagavad Gita. Various verses refer to different kind of buddhi, and the first one would be being buddhihin, from where you actually start. And then you have mamatva buddhi, when you feel, you're into possessiveness, and you have several ashuddha buddhi. So I was told that there are verses which can sort of explain or imply that this is the level of buddhi. Can you tell me something about? I have a list of.
See, these days, this is a very hip thing. Hip thing is that people wish to, the speakers I'm saying, the motivational speakers especially, they wish to categorize and label everything in a very different way, because that becomes their USP. And now there is 20 types of buddhi. Well, I can make it 50. Do you want me to do that? It's like complicating simpler things into more difficult things, and letting the audience know you are buffoons. You don't even know you have 20 types of intellect. And I can say 100 types of minds are there. Why complicate things? See, a very wise person, a great Swamiji once said to me, he said, now because you are going to talk to people, just remember that your job is to simplify everything, not to complicate everything. So I believe this is just another way of complicating the audience and making them wonder, oh, what he or she knows, we don't know. So it's like having more followers and more paid audience coming to you, so more profits for the speaker. That's my take on to
No,
that.
when I was told, my understanding was that Bhagavad Gita works like a self-help book. So when it talks about it, you actually read and you come to know for yourself.
See, the reason
where
for
you
this
will
very
be
reason, I
and
have...
how to work
See,
towards
when
it.
I spoke on Bhagavad Gita, it came out in 3 volumes, in a big, large-sized books, 3 books. And then I said, well, people don't have time to go through into this lengthy. So now I have created a newer version, and that is a very concised form. In one, we have the shlokas written in English phonetic, word-to-word meaning, and a small paragraph what the gist of this shloka is. Very handy, and just go through, easy, traveling, driving, whatever, you can just open a book in your plane and just read few verses, 2 pages, 3 pages, and then contemplate on that. Should be enough. My motive is to simplify things, not complicate things.
Gurumaji, we all talk about nirvana, moksha, all these words, fancy words which we hope will make some sense to us at some point. When you talk about moksha, of course, when people die, then of course you do attain moksha. So I'm told. But can we have that kind of a feeling? What does it actually mean? And can we have that kind of feeling before we die, meaning while we are alive?
Okay, you are totally misinformed about the word moksha. And nirvana is coming from the Buddhist philosophy word. This is not part of the Sanatan Dharma or the Vedantic concept. So nirvana is like like you blew the flame of the candle, and we would say the flame has gone into nirvana, finished, right? But the word moksha doesn't mean that when you die you get moksha automatically. It's not that. Moksha is something which you can only experience while being physically alive, number one. What it means is, it's like breaking the bondages and shackles of your mind. That is what moksha is. Moksha means relieving, opening up bondage. Bondage which you have in your mind. So to experience this moksha, you have to open up the shackles of your own mind. So if you are dead, then at least I cannot give you moksha, because whatever I'll speak you cannot understand. And you cannot relish or enjoy the knowledge which will be commenced. So moksha means the bondage which we have. Bondage, for example, I am this body alone, and I'm nothing more than this body. It's a bondage, because you are in reality not just a body. There had been many bodies before, there will be happening many more until you gain the self-realization. So if I have to say, then a very technical definition of the moksha would be, I would say, when you attain Param Anand and all root cause of your miseries are eradicated. This is what moksha is. When you have attained the highest Anand, I'm not saying pleasure or happiness, I'm saying Anand is the word meaning neither happiness, neither misery, neither sukha, neither dukkha. So this Anand in its the most primest form, purest form, when you attain that and you eradicate all reasons of your miseries, this is what moksha is. So the bondage and the association which we have created with the body, mind, intellect unit, when we understand the reality of our own true self, and I am not this, so now I am not unbound with this body alone, and this is not my true representation, this is just one layer, and understanding the body, then understanding the 5 sense organs, what they are, the doors which connect you to the world. Then what is the mind and how it functions, and how it is separate from my real being. Similarly, what is this consciousness and what is this intellect Whether 1 type or 20 type, I have no problem. Please get the understanding of that. And then finally recognizing your own true, real self, the divine self. And now our shackles, bondages are when, one, nobody wants to die. We don't know what death is, hence the fear is. So when you have removed this fear, we would say now it's the moksha. You are slave to world for your happiness, and the day you learn that where the true Param Anand is, then your all slaveries is gone. This is what would be the moksha. When you know who you are in your true existence, in your truer form, and birth and death is just happening onto the body, not to you. It's just like that if I want to cut the light, I can't cut the light, I can't make it wet, I can't scatter it, I can't hold it. So once you realize you are light of the light, this is what moksha would be. So moksha has nothing to do with the death, that only when you will die, then you will have. It can be just a mukti from that particular body, not the mukti in its truer form. The moksha, this is something very ridiculous, because if this would have been moksha, then we all should die very quickly because that's how we will feel. Oh, now I am liberated. That's absolute childish thing to assume. Because the lack of knowledge is there, hence people have their own versions and meanings for the words, and the words become so esoteric. Oh, it's so difficult to understand what it means. It's not. It's absolutely not. It's much simpler than what you might fathom.
And I was just going through the book Vichar Chandro.
Yeah.
And so I was just flipping through it, and which spoke about, moksha kisse hota hai.
Yeah.
So can you just tell us a little about it? And the next answer is, as you say, Brahma Gyan se.
Yeah.
So how does one start moving on that path?
See, it's as simple as that you need a teacher to teach you the alphabets or the maths or the history. Similarly, the one who is a jnani is required. So you just have to be in communion with that teacher who has understood the reality and now is lovingly ready to share with you. So the disciplehood comes in, the learning comes in, and it is as such very scientific, because we are not going to talk about hells and heavens, about which everybody has some imaginary ideas about what it might be or what it might feel like. Vedanta is going to talk about a very tangible realities, which you know it already, but you never took your understanding in going into depth of that. So layer by layer, this Brahma Vidya, Brahm means what? Brahm means the all-pervasive existence. Brahm means divinity. You can give any name. I wouldn't like to use the word God, because the moment you bring word God, then the Hindu God, Christian God, Sikh God, all type of gods and all type of the childish, disparities will come there. So I would like to stick with the word, the ultimate reality. So this is all about knowing the ultimate reality. The way is the Guru teaches you, the disciple learns it, examines it, analyzes it, experiences it, and grows, and then experiences the highest stage while very, very much being alive. You don't have to die, my dear. No.
So Gurumaa, last one question. Your name is Gurumaa Anandmurti. So how does one become Murti of Anand? Pardon me if I offended you.
No, absolutely not. Number one, it's not my name, it is the address which people gave it to me, because my demeanor had been like, people are like very somber, silent, not speaking too much, not smiling exactly. And here I'm laughing and cracking jokes and making others laugh with me. Because if you won't laugh with me, where will you? And I'm not charging also. I'm just doing it because the love is in abundance. and this should be shared, and that's what I'm doing.
That's what one feels in your aura.
So it's just, the flower is just smiling to oneself and to whosoever looks onto that flower. So I would say there is nothing extraordinary in having this experience. It's just about being on the path of learning this Brahma Vidya, this divine knowledge, this Vedanta, this Advait Vidya, the Advait knowledge, the non-duality. And once you go into this deeper and deeper, things just magically change for you. You don't have to do something extra to do the change. It's just like it's a natural opening up, or the blooming of the lotus will happen. As the sun comes, the sunflower begins to open up and moves in that direction. Sun is not dictating. Sun is not sending a navigation map to the flower that this is how you follow me, go north, go east. No, it's just naturally happening. So when we are in this journey of knowing my own true reality, the ultimate reality of my own being, you are going to be there where I am, because I am not different from you. So it's not something that it's only me who has some special blessings and some special magic powers. No, absolutely not. I would say you are as extraordinary as I am, or I am as ordinary as you are. So I don't see any separate identity crises happening. It's just simple. I know it, you are yet to know it. That's it. The day you know it, you will smile just like me, and you will become Mona Darling.
No, well, I just have one more to ask. Like you said, Vedanta is there. Vedanta can be the teachings, and Kabir. Okay?
Yeah.
Just to say, and I was told that you've also said that whatever Kabir said was also Vedanta. Can you elaborate more on that, please?
Well, see, I don't. The only difference which I have to make is that Kabir's philosophy will fit more closer into Sankhya and Bhakti. And if I go into Shankaracharya, then it would be a Bhakti and non-dualistic approach. So hardly any difference. The Sankhya believes that there is a Purusha and Prakriti, there's two existences. And Adi Shankaracharya says there's only one existence and rest else is just an illusion. Brahm Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. So the only difference is over here. They will say non-dual existence. Kabir would say in both sides. We find his lyrics, his works. In some parts, he's also talking purely about Vedanta. Like, I just did one of his beautiful bhajan, Mohe acharaj ek dikhaye re, kaise bindu mein sindhu samaye re. I am amazed with this, and how come the ocean is in the drop? And that is in Vedanta we would say, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that. Right? So, kaise bindu mein sindhu samaye re? How the ocean is in the drop, and Vedanta says how Brahma is in you only. So, I don't find the little differences are, I would say, more of philosophical. And I agree to Kabir beautifulally, and there is no issue about that. And so does Guru Nanak. And so does Sant Dadu Dayal. And there is a long list of Sejobai and Sant Charandas and Mirabai and Muktabai, and it's a long, long list. So the Advait is there everywhere, in every state, in the regional languages. Sant Gyaneshwar spoke everything in Marathi. He's talking about Advait Vedanta. Kabir Sahib and Raidas, born in UP, so they took that UP dialect and they are speaking about their experiences, and they are again talking about those same things, a little twist here, a little twist there. End of the day, sabe se aane ek mat. All learned people, wise people, who have experienced that ultimate reality will be talking from that same source. Dialect might be different, language might be different. Some might say there is existence of three existence, Traitvad. Some would say it's the two, the Dvaitvad, the dualistic, and the Advait Vedanta says a non-dualistic. But the thing is, you might begin your journey from wherever. If you are a sincere seeker and a true practitioner, a point will come where this breaking of all the myths and the doubts will happen. Surely it will happen.
So is it a right question to ask what stage of evolution one is? Should we even ask this question to ourselves? Where am I in terms of evolution, or how will I know that I'm progressing? Is there a benchmark or something?
Benchmark can be there, but I can say like this, that if you have equanimity in mind, if you are not slave of your own senses, if your mind can endure the extreme pain or pleasure, praise or insult without getting perturbed, if your heart is filled with great adulation and love for your guru, and that devotion will give you so much of satiation inside. It's like a sweet nectar which keeps your tongue and mind and heart moist and sweetened all the times. It's not high and dry thing. And if your mind is totally resolved, and if you sit down with closed eyes, the mind can go into total absorption. So these are the benchmark or the signs if you are really progressing on the path. And if all this is not happening, then this means you have to yet start your journey. The journey has yet to start. You know, if you travel to mountains in these summer times, the moment, like, say, Simla is just 20 kilometers away, the quality of the air changes. The smells changes. The fragrances changes. And you can feel that nip in the air. And that beautiful fragrance of the mountain, in the soil, in the trees. And now you know, oh, Simla is coming close. So you might not have arrived still, yet the beautiful mountain ranges which you were seeing. But as you are more closer to the destination, your whole body can feel that, now we have arrived. So it's not something you need somebody else to tell you whether you are going right or not. See, our heart is the best meter to check that. You will know. You know, if you can just smile and laugh more and sleep well. And in the morning when you wake up, you have peace on your face, not frustrations. You have arrived. You have arrived.
Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.